I always remembered my grandmother. She was illiterate. She was told that she will have two exits in her life. The first leading to her husband's marriage and the second to the grave. It was not sort of teaching in peace. It was sort of, I'm giving you a lesson and try to find your third exit. And she continued by saying, you know which one is that? It was education. By the way, I made a bracelet out of it. Find your third exit.
Dr. Ilham Kadri is with us on the show. She is a global business leader celebrated for her vision, her authenticity, and impact. She was born here in Casablanca, Morocco, and has built a remarkable international career across 4 continents, leading major transformations in multiple industries. As the former CEO of Solvay, she successfully transformed this 160-year-old global group and delivered a historic spin-off in December 2023. Shaping the creation of 2 world-class companies, Solvay and Syensqo. Currently, she's the CEO of Syensqo. Before Solvay, she served as CEO of Diversity in the United States and held senior executive roles with major global companies. She has been recognized by Fortune among the world's most powerful women and featured by Forbes as one of the most influential leaders of her generation.
Time out. Wonder Woman doesn't exist. I'm not Superwoman. By the way, my superpower is vulnerability. Yes. Can you believe it?
Dr. Ilham Kadri, welcome to Leaders on Purpose podcast.
Thank you, Manal, for having me. You know that I'm a big fan of yours, so really happy to be here.
It is such a joy to have you on the show. I first heard you speak when you were giving the commencement speech at last year's UM6P graduation ceremony. And your words spoke directly to me. I remember you spoke about purpose.
Yeah.
You spoke about the importance of finding what lights us up.
Yeah.
And I remember that time I was like, there has to be a Leaders on Purpose episode with Dr. Ilham Kadri. So this feels like a full circle moment. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, I would love for us to start with your background story. When you think about the journey from that little girl in Casablanca to the global leader you are today, what are 4 or 5 pivotal moments that come spontaneously to your mind and that have shaped your career?
Wow. It's good to reflect on it back here in Casablanca, right? Yeah. I am, by the way, a daughter of Derb Sultan, one of the most popular, neighborhood in Casablanca. First of all, I think I was a curious child. Curiosity. At my times, it was a boring things, TV shows were not that exciting. I grew up in a very humble, home, so we didn't have much of, distractions. So I could live different lives through books. So I could travel, dream. I was at one point of time probably Japanese because I loved the Golden Pavilion. And I imagine myself in Japan till decades after I visited Japan from writer Mishima. Actually, I wanted to own a library, believe it or not, because for me, library and books meant knowledge and opening up to other worlds from my little humble home in Derb Sultan. And I was Shahrazad as well, with the 1001 lives, right? But this hero, she was inspiring. She dared to write her own story, right? And she was capable of challenging the status quo. So yeah, I think books, education, curiosity. Then I found my passion in science, and I was lucky enough to find it very quickly. I remember my grandmother, we were at that time renting books.
Yeah.
Probably 3 books for half of euro, right?
Yes.
Or 4 books even.
Yes.
With comic strips as, comics as an extra. And I remember one day a book where Marie Curie was featured. And I remember that picture, which ended up as a poster in my room. I remembered, getting intrigued by this lady who won 2 prizes, right? And then I realized I didn't know what was Nobel Prize. Now I'm interviewing Nobel Prizes.
Yes, you are, yeah.
So, and I was like, wow, there is a woman out there who can live with freedom her life, who pursue science, who can publish, papers, and who can just be free. And my grandmother taught me a lot about freedom, right, and about being determined to go after your goals. So I think that's finding that passion has been a bit of la ligne rouge of my journey. So really something, the guiding North Star, which helped me really to continue my education. And then after, it's history, through scholarships. I got a Moroccan scholarship and a French one, because without public school, and I want to now commend the Moroccan public school. I mean, it was a bit difficult for me at the beginning because I was dyslexic, but I didn't know I was dyslexic. I was actually diagnosed very late. But the public school, I have a math teacher who believed in me. He believed that I was really good in math and science, and why not? A little girl, and a teenager would just pursue engineering education if I want, while I was actually pretty good in literature. So I think, curiosity, determination, the neighborhood in Derb Sultan. I'm so happy now to give it some back justice, right? That even humble, poor neighborhoods can open doors through education to prosperity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love how every stage of your journey connects back to that sense of curiosity and courage. Now, you often share that your grandmother played a huge role in your upbringing. If you think back to those early years, what values or life lessons or conversations you have with her that still guide your decisions today?
Yeah, and she's with me every day, every single day. She was illiterate, and that grandmother was my first role model. After was Marie Curie, by the way. She was amazing. She was a force of nature. She told me one day, I think it was intense day. She told me that she was told that she will have two exits in her life. The first leading to her husband's marriage, to her husband's home, and the second to the grave. It was not sort of teaching in peace. It was sort of, I'm giving you a lesson, and try to find your third exit. And she continued by saying, which one is that? Was education. By the way, I made a bracelet out of it.
Oh, I love
Find
that.
your third exit. Reminding me every day when I see it, what she told me, right? So, I mean, she taught me many things, many values, from determination and hard work. Nothing is easy. To be greedy with natural resources, because we didn't have a luxury to waste in our home. We didn't have tap running water. Electricity came like, a miracle. I was a teenager, and moving from candle to electricity is like these days moving to Gen AI, right? Yeah. So she taught me about, empathy, solidarity, because in the neighborhood, even if you don't have access to resources, there was a lot of, solidarity, a lot of support to each other, a lot of empathy, while she was a very strong woman. And and then to love my freedom, and accessing to freedom, which probably she missed as a young lady in her marriage, in her life. It's about being independent financially through education, right? Yeah. And then you are free to make choices. She taught me about having seat in the room, and when I'm in the room, speak up, right? And she will continue, because she had a lot of humor. But, when you speak up, ensure you have something really good to say. If not, shut up, She taught me as well to not take myself too much seriously, because I think we have it in our genes in Morocco. Yeah. And I think later on in my leadership journey, it's good, that you have that, because it helps to take your ego in check. Yeah. And that humility serve, I believe, leaders to be a servant leaders rather than ego leaders.
You touched on so many topics. I can't wait to unpack those with you. I love it. That is really beautiful. And, yet even with those strong roots, you spoke about these very important life lessons and values. Every leader has their moment of doubt, of fear, of uncertainty. What were those moments for you, and how did you manage to transform them into something that drives you?
Well, of course, I mean, there were many, moments of doubt, and you said, and fear. Life is not about being fearless or avoiding fear, is to manage it with grounding and balance to make you a better person. And through my journey, I was a moment where I remember company was my maternity leave, and I was a marketing manager, global one, and they just made the choice for me. That's when I will come back from my maternity leave. I will not travel anymore. And I disappeared from an org chart, right? I mean, you can imagine the shock. Although I enjoyed my 4 months maternity leave with my baby, etc., I knew I want to continue my career. And those are moments which, they print something. And I did remember that, and it was very tough, by the way, because at that time I have a dual career with my husband, who retired eventually later. And it was tough to manage the baby, and the two careers where you don't have support. I mean, there are probably ecosystem, maybe like Morocco, where we may have more support. We didn't, right? But listen, with leap of faith, with a lot of dialogue and discussion with my husband, we ended up leaving the job. He actually also, decided to leave his job, and in a new country, we moved from Belgium to Switzerland. I became the only income of the family, which was a really high load with the baby,
Yeah.
who is 6 months old, in a completely new, adventure. And it was probably the kickoff of my career, actually, my international one.
Oh, so interesting.
And in that sobering moment, thinking about it this way, to having a dialogue with your partner, or, and then saying, yeah, we can do it together. You start saying, let's go. What can happen? And actually it was one of the best, things which happened. And then there are many things through the journey from, being a woman in male-dominant sectors. I've been in automotive industry, in the paint and coating, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, right? Wearing abayas. And so there are, and frankly, I could see that there are biases around me. Mm-hmm. I could see that I may not be welcome as a woman in a male-dominant environment. But I always remembered my grandmother, and, I'm in the room. I'm not a showroom. I'm in the room. And I deserve to speak up. I'm worth it.
Yes.
And being worth it, right? It's something where you defend, why you are here, right? But you have to impact. You have to perform. Results have to be there. The best, push back on doubts, on people skeptical. I have many mentees who tell me how a woman can succeed and climb the ladder easily. It's not easy. I'm still an anecdote as a CEO around the world. There are less than, low single digits around us. And I think the best way to do it is to want it, first of all. It's your purpose, right? Yeah. Is it something for you? And if you want it, go after it, and then perform, impact. Performance and impact. Hopefully you are in a meritocratic environment. If not, you should find another one. But I think that's what I advise my mentees is, if it's your passion, go after it. There will be sacrifices. There is a hard work. It's not walk in the park, but it's worth it.
Do you believe there is what we call imposter syndrome? Did you ever encounter that, or do you think self-belief is the way to overcome it?
Frankly, not me personally. I think I was just, I'm a self-believer, and I think it came from my grandmother. She gave me something called the unconditional love.
Beautiful.
So I grew up even with scarce resources, but with immense love, and I realized it was the backbone of my self-esteem.
Yes.
So I had that. But you're right. I have many mentees. I'm a mentor, and I do more and more, by the way, now. And many mentees, especially women, there are a few men as well, when they open up to their vulnerabilities, I realize that this is probably a big issue and a big syndrome. And it comes from self-esteem and the self-belief but then when they are not at their best, when they don't correct course, they're not gonna be happy 100% or even 100% impactful in the job if they don't fix it. So I'm working, frankly, with some mentees into fixing that.
I love that. I think that's such a powerful message. Self-belief to encounter and work through the imposter syndrome, because it's such
But you cannot just say, oh, I'm gonna wake up a morning and I self-believe in myself. It doesn't work this way. It comes from your upbringing, it comes from your journey, and I often say to some mentees, you have to accept to open up that doors. Sometimes it's Pandora box. I'm not a psychologist. It's not the point to be lying on a on a couch and saying, tell me who has, hurt you. It's not the point. It's to understand where those drivers came from, where this doubt came from, and then be in peace with them and start, loving yourself.
Yes.
It's about loving yourself. Before you like others and respect others, respect and like yourself. And that's self-belief. That's, specifically for women who still can be challenged, If I take a bigger job, oh my God, how I can be a good mom, a good spouse, a good leader? I'm traveling. Our middle name is called guilt. And we are actually put in a box of guilt. All our life.
So true.
And it's come from our neighbors, our people who love us, by the way. Who
social conditioning.
How you do that? Social conditioning. Time out. Wonder Woman doesn't exist. I'm not Superwoman. By the way, my superpower is vulnerability. Yes. Can you believe it? And I claim it. So I think people who want to really work on this, it can make them a better person. As simple as that.
Yeah. No. That is so true. And I truly believe that one of the most valuable gifts we could give ourselves is working on those, issues and beliefs and being on a self-development journey and opening up for...
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you talk about purpose a lot, and I feel it's like it's been a red thread in everything that you've built. How would you define your life's purpose currently? And did that show up gradually, or was there a defining moment where you were like, sure, this is my passion, this is what I want to do?
I'm not the 20-year-old girl, right, or 17 who left Casablanca, obviously maturity, experience, lived in 4 continents, right? And that gives you some equipment and munitions. But the reality is that, I knew in Casablanca here that science will be, the thing I enjoyed, and I would like to pursue a career, whatever it is, I didn't dream of becoming a CEO. I mean, that was already engineer was a big win, and then PhD, another big win.
Yeah.
And then the first job, another big win. By the way, one of the I'm not sure if defining is an anecdote. In my first job, I joined Shell, and Shell came into the campus and offered me a job. And then they do this, test, right? So they put you during a week. My English was poor. It was all in English. I was attracted by Anglo-Saxon, environments, because I had an American dream in Morocco.
Same.
And then I ended up in France. And I'm like, where is your dream, Ilham? You dreamed about the other parts of the ocean. So I joined this Anglo-Saxon company. And then they do this test. And then at the end, they said, oh, you are eligible to the C-suite. And I said, what does this mean, the C-suite? And it was funny. I said to one of my friends, it's not A and B. It should not be good, And then they said, no, C-suite is executives, You can get into executive committee, into eventually it's CEO role. And it made me laugh. And I said, whatever, right? So I think... the most important, I believe, is that I had an ambition for myself. And the other probably thing is that I never cared really about the destination. I have been always, and probably come from my upbringing, I've been always focused on the journey. If my journey was good, was deep, so I could learn really, I'm curious, I go high, low levels, I understand what's going on, I build something, I'm proud of this. If the journey was good and brilliant, I had more than one destination. I had even choices. That's what I say to my mentees, because often I found people, in 1 year or 2 years, I want to do this. I want to be like you, Ilham. How to do that? Well, there is, cool down,
There are steps.
Take your time. Take your time, enjoy your journey. Go deep. Because if not, you have what I call a tourist in the job.
Yeah.
They're like a butterfly, boom, 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 boom. At one point of time, you are going to get into your incompetency level. And believe me, at that time, it's very hard. It's really tough. Because in my role, I need to talk to a salesperson. And I was a salesperson in my career. You need to talk to a researcher. You need to talk to a product manager, to a lawyer. You need to talk, and you need to manage as orchestra chief all these people without playing the instruments.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know the instruments really well, and sometimes you don't, and that's okay. You are still the orchestra chief, the conductor. So I think that's what journey is about. You see what I mean?
Yeah. That resonates, because I think we also pressure ourselves a lot to find this purpose, or, oh my gosh, I am 40 years old. What is my purpose in life? So it's more about the journey. This is what you're saying. This is what I'm keeping. It's like enjoying the journey more than pressuring
but frankly,
ourselves.
my purpose, I didn't answer your question, is really about impacting through what I master, which is parts of science, part now, and big part is business. And now is giving back, because, I'm entering into another chapter of my life.
Yes.
But my purpose is really to impact people. It's all about, I've always, all my transformation already since now 20 years, I've been 11 years a CEO, 30 years in the industry. Obviously, I love industry, I love science, I love chemistry. That's my sweet spot. It's not about even the numbers or, whatever. It's about impacting people and people's lives through that science. Be it my employees, the 13,000 explorers at Syensqo, 23,000 with Solvay. It's about our customers, the communities. I was in India last week, in Rajasthan, in the middle of the desert next to the Pakistani border. They grow a plant called guar, which go to beauty care. And those are now, they were 4,000 farmers. Now there are 10,000 farmers. 30% are women. And they welcomed me. And in 7 years, I've been building, a fabulous business, but with social responsibilities. They let their daughters go to school. They manage better water, because water is the scarcest resources they have. These ladies, they told me that before, the culture told them that they are impure when they have their menstruations. Can you believe it? We told them, now they say, I am like you, she said. I know I'm not impure. I can stay in my house and I can cook for my children. Because before they were kicked out from their homes.
Yeah.
Can you, I was emotionally touched when you see the impacts we could have on those women in Rajasthan, in the middle of the desert, and now they have savings. And you know what they ask me? We put some Gen AI and digital tracking of our relationship with them, because we gave them financial identity. Before, they couldn't open a bank account. They needed their father or husband. Now they can open their bank account. So we did that. I visited them 3 years ago. And now I said, so what next for you? How I can help you? Well, they said, now we have money and we have savings. We want to become entrepreneur and invest.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
7 years. It's an amazing story. It's and even if it's Rajasthan in the middle of the desert, it's only 10,000. Imagine if all of us, we start purposefully impacts communities around us.
So true.
That way, from A to Z. That's amazing.
That's true. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. And that's true impact. Let me ask you if you ever had a moment where you doubted your direction or felt like you might have taken the wrong path or had to navigate uncertainty, because I feel a lot in the audience may be going through similar situations. What can you tell us about navigating uncertainty?
Well, it's all about navigating uncertainty. I mean, and it feels like it's never ending story these days because now the world is in convulsion and geopolitics are blurring with business, and you can wake up a day and your business, is just upside down. So, but throughout the journey, of course, I think, from the maternity leave, I mean, my story, and I'm going to continue the story, we landed in Switzerland. And you think, oh, Switzerland, it's a developed country. And with a dual career, impossible to have a nanny. It was insanely expensive. We didn't have family. And that's the only time in my life
Where you doubted?
I doubted. I said, let's abandon the career. My husband was amazingly actually supportive, saying, no, don't do that. We're going to fight, etc. Because there is no choice between your baby and your job.
Of course.
There is none. And that's why, by the way, when I joined Solvay, I gave 16 weeks paternity leave.
Yes, I read that.
It was not just for charity. If you want a woman at the top, support their husband, their spouses, their partners, to support them during critical times.
Absolutely.
Called maternity leave. And by the way, people say, oh, Ilham is a woman. She's going to nobody's going to take the paternity leave. 951 babies enjoyed their fathers.
Oh my gosh, this is
since
beautiful.
Then,
yeah,
for 16 weeks. And guess what? Happy father, happy mother, happy baby.
Thriving business.
Productive employee.
Yeah.
So, no, there were many, many moments of doubt. When I landed in the kingdom at that time, was not that open, and obviously was tough. And I was the first general manager of American company, by the way, dealing in the kingdom. But, after 6 months, my best supporters were my friends Saudi, and I became their sisters, and I became a competitive advantage. But because of determination, because of, dialogue, because of engagement. And each, I think, someone this morning, I was visiting our activities here in El Jadida, and there was a young lady who asked me about, I may want to go abroad, but I'm a bit, I'm anxious and maybe uncomfortable to go there. I said, why? Yeah, far from the family. I told her, each time you go into your uncomfort zone, you definitely have that doubt, but the uncomfort makes you stronger.
True.
If you do the right thing. Every single, mandates in another country, we had to reimagine ourselves with the family. It's not easy. For the training spouse, be it a man or a woman, it's the same. For the kids, right? Because they have to, a new school, they have to get new friends, and the family, the other members are far away. But guess what? You craft something called resilience, called adaptability, called global citizenship. Yeah. 3 things I just mentioned, that are the secrets of success of current leaders.
Wonderful.
If you are not resilient, if you are not a global citizen, if you don't have that adaptability and flexibility, frankly, don't go to that job. Your life will be miserable. So, and you cannot just again wake up in the morning and decide, I'm flexible. No, it's piece by piece. You craft it through experience and living. I was lucky. I lived in Africa. I lived in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Middle East. I lived in Japan. I lived in the US. So I can claim, I know how these people think and live, what they drink, where they eat.
Yes.
What they like to talk about during dinners. It's very different from the US than China than
And you had to adapt
Brussels.
to each different environment.
Absolutely.
Like you did not come with your own way of doing things.
Absolutely.
You blend into the culture.
And I think later it becomes a competitive advantage, and really a way for you to understand global businesses. Because today, Syensqo is headquartered in Belgium, but 40% of our business is in the US and 35% is in Asia. In my top 10 countries, beyond United States of America, is China, is Korea, is Japan. I need to understand how to do business. I was in India, it's emerging, a country for business. Africa, when I was in the Middle East, I was the African, investor for Dow, for their specialties. So I started between Dubai, going to Casablanca and Joburg and putting flags in different, countries. But Africa is expensive as a continent. It's north and south, or in the middle is completely different cultures. The way of doing business, the governance is different.
Very fragmented.
So without understanding this, it's very difficult to lead a global business. And I invite even, the youth, travel, If you have an opportunity to get a job, even if you decrease the size of your business. When I moved from Switzerland to the Middle East, my business shrank. And my friends say, oh my God, you are doing your biggest mistake. They think you are Arab, you are going to stay in the Middle East, you'll never get out. Oh my God. I said, okay, let me make the choice. Let me do it.
Yes.
And I get, with experience and age, you have to follow your guts, right?
Absolutely. And listen to that intuition.
And actually, it's not even with age, because this young woman, and I'm not gonna give you the name, but this morning when she asked me, and I was in a mentoring session, just 5-10 minutes, I said, because she said, I want to be an architect or an engineer, chemical engineer. I said, wow, that's very different. And I said, she said 50-50. I said, think about what would you love to do most? Follow a bit your intuition.
Yes.
everybody has an intuition.
Yeah.
The
Because
youth
on the
have
long
it.
run, it's
And what's
your
going to happen?
passion.
You fail?
Yeah.
Actually, I learn more from my failures than my successes.
True.
Come back, do something else, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And another topic you often talk about, Ilham, is mentoring and the importance of finding a sponsor. Could you give us an insight into the difference you make between the two? And also, who were some of those people in your journey? How did they help shape your trajectory?
Well, the difference is simple, in my words. A mentor speaks with you. A sponsor talks about you when you are not in the room. And you need both. And by the way, women, they don't do that much, all right? So when people say, oh, they're in their club and they know each other, well, you'd rather be part of it, right? Because the day we talk about the hot jobs in the room, you know, if I don't know, you know, Namel or others, yeah, sorry, you know, I don't know you. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. And if I know someone, I will defend the person I know. So that's the difference. I abuse of mentoring. Mentoring is great. And actually in Morocco, we are well, you know, equipped for mentoring. You know, El Hammam. I mean, I remember it was so boring that people will tell you their stories and you say, stop talking about your story. That's mentoring, bloody hell. It's mentoring, you know. My grandmother, obviously, joke aside, mentored me a lot. Now her words resonate, and I may not be that a good listener when I was younger. I wish, actually, I do it again. But mentoring is about, it's voluntary choice. It's almost through matching, right? Mm-hmm. You say, wow, you have something, Manal, I need, and you can mentor me on this specific topic or space. So I have many mentors. I have mentors for business. I have mentor for, I'm writing a fiction book. I just finished it. So I'm so proud of myself. I had mentors. Wait to read that one. I have mentors for writing or creative writing. I have a younger mentor than me for Gen AI. Because now I'm like, you know, a student, because I'm digital immigrant. So I'm learning on, you know, what is Gen AI. And they're younger than me. And that's okay. I said, you have to mentor me. So I go. And so mentoring is just being resourceful. It should not be a relationship. Normally, I take a year relationship with my official mentees, but it can be on the spot, like this morning with this, you know, 17-year-old student. And it can be in a plane. Sometimes I'm flying 13 hours to Asia and I have someone next to me. He or she doesn't know I'm getting mentoring. You know, it can be on the spot. And sponsor, of course, yeah. I mean, people, and often women, to not stereotype, they said, yeah, but if I spend my time presenting myself, it's all about who you are. You have a brand.
Yeah.
You have a brand, be it in communication or not. You have a brand. When I see Manal, I see, all right?
Yeah.
And then I do my research, and with ChatGPT it's easier now to know your life. But when you are in front of me, you are a person. I see you, right? It will depend on the questions, if I'm interested by you, right? Yeah. The question I'm going to ask. But you answer to your own questions, not my questions. So you have the opportunity to tell me who you are, what you love to do, what are your convictions, what are your values, what you want to do as the next steps, in the hot jobs in the C room. So I think you need both, and I really invite the youth to do both.
Yeah, and speaking about the youth, especially those who find corporate networks intimidating, for example.
Yeah.
How can they proactively find sponsors that would advocate for them? Like, what would be your piece of advice into the do's and do not do's,
Well, I mean, first of all, it's in your own organization, right? When you work for a big corporation like ours, I mean, if you can just be known by the top 100, the top 20, the top 10, when you meet your CEO, ensure that you present who you are and your impact. Because often we say you have a pitch for a lift journey, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I have a minute.
Pitch. Yeah.
People ask for 30 minutes. No, you have a minute or 5 minutes, right? So be ready when it's happening, the rendezvous, to be impactful. Because we do remember what people, they tell us, but how they make us feel as well. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember I saw you, Manal, on stage in UMCSP, and I wanted badly. I said, wow, this lady, I want her in my team, It's like these shows where I want you in my team. Of course, this is leaders, they choose, athletes or future athletes. That's what we are looking for when we are always hiring, in a way,
So true. First job of a CEO is to find the right talent.
It's all about people and people and people. So I think when you are, people should but then you should not be in a surfait.
That's
I'm gonna show this, because believe me, we see it immediately. We see people who are authentic or not. You see when people are in front of you and they look
beyond.
Elsewhere.
Yeah.
It happens with people who are senior and they are not with me. It's like the kids, if you are parents, sometimes the kids, they say, you are not, I'm with you. No, you are not with me. Because they even can be in your thinking, right? That happens, whatever the age. So I think be in the moments, be in the journey, remember, not the destination. Be authentic, right? As deep as you can go. That's the human bonding, I really believe it's differentiator for great leaders and future leaders, is when they really connect at a human level. That's invaluable. It's like my meeting in Rajasthan. That was at human level. We were not speaking the same language, but we were speaking the right language, which is this universal human-centric language. And everybody, we were equal. Everybody was set up for success. They want to be set up for success. That's why they were asking my mentoring on how to invest their savings, right? And it's amazing when you reach that level, with your kids, with your employees, with your relationships, stakeholders, be it, your board, the communities you live in. I think, and it's rewarding as well.
It is so rewarding indeed. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to dive into something else, because I once remembered you used this beautiful metaphor about the inverted pyramid, and how we are all thriving to be on the top of that pyramid. Yeah. Can you walk us through that perspective and what it says about success?
Actually, it was one of my mentees, and I'm coaching future CEOs in the job and people who will not get the job, and with a lot of probably suffering, right, ego suffering linked to that. But one mentee asked me, how does it feel what does it take to get to the top, but how does it feel to be on the top of that pyramid, right? Because you have an organization and you are the CEO, so you lead the organization and you feel job done. Well, actually, and I've been now with 11 years under the belt, there is another pyramid, right? You are at the top of the first pyramid, but you start to be at the bottom of the other pyramid. And the other pyramid is other stakeholders.
Yeah.
Your board, the authorities,
Yes.
the social partners. It can be an activist. I got an activist on me for 2 years. It's media, right? The pressure every day, the quarter financial reporting, if you're in publicly traded company, but it can be also private, but still you have owners. So, it's like a three-star Michelin restaurant.
Yeah.
I've heard some people they have burnout or they don't want their third, star because it's so much pressure.
Yeah.
So being at the top means you are at the bottom of something.
That's beautiful.
And you are in between those two inverted pyramids, right? And that point is you. Which means that sometimes you can feel extremely lonely. You are alone, no? And you have this and
We
this.
often say it's lonely on top.
It can be extremely lonely. What I mentor and coach, find people around you, but les bienveillants, the people who are going to really help you. Not the court who is going to tell you, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, right? Who likes you, right? Or tells you what you wanna hear. Find people who are constructively supporting you when you are in that, intersection and when you feel lonely. The job is full of loneliness because of the financials, because of an upset investor, because of the board, because of maybe at home, and you have to jungle and you have to bring everybody. Sometimes you are authentic but not transparent. Sometimes you have tough restructuring activities to be done, and we are not born, at least me, to restructure but rather to grow, but times are tough, so you need to do so all of this happen in this. And frankly, reflecting on it, and I'm writing another book on leadership and a bit of a playbook, although there is no, one recipe, is that you need through your journeys and through your mandates and through your lives, if you want to go there, to really prepare yourself for that. I think there should be a better job by business schools, by management school, by public schools. And it starts with, I think you say this, and that's what makes me extremely excited to be here. It starts with this self-esteem, with the inside out. If you live your life outside in, what they're going to tell about me, what's going to happen, I need to be popular, I need to be this and that, you're going to be probably in a tough times, extremely miserable. If you prepare yourself inside out, by preparing your DNA and knowing, this is not personal.
Yeah.
It's their movie and you have your own movie, and you try to balance things. You do it with grounding, balance. You are going to go through it and you are going to become a better person, a better leader, a better mother, a better father, a better companion. So I think that's probably the best life journey I've ever had, is that my inside principles journey.
I love that. And I love the fact that you do not see it as the top, you see it as an intersection, which speaks to this journey ever evolving, ever growing.
Yeah. And I think there are brilliant schools in the US mainly, or Anglo-Saxon. They call it being a servant leadership.
True, yeah.
And people say, what does it mean? Specifically coming from the elite, à la française, etc. Actually, it's about that. It's about that servant leadership. If you get it, you understand that in each top, it's inverse, right?
Absolutely.
In each top. And frankly, people in sports understand that. You can be a super champion in tennis, in an Ironman even, and each time you have to redo it again because it's never granted.
Never granted.
I think the sport shows it. It's the same in business. And if you take it this way, you always train. Because if you want to be a runner, you have to run every day. If you're a good business person, you have to learn and relearn every day. Look at Gen AI now.
Absolutely.
It's completely
Ever evolving.
changing
Yeah.
and challenging the status quo, challenging our way of doing things. I was in India, they don't talk about e-commerce, they talk about quick commerce. I said, what does this mean, quick commerce? 1 hour or 2 hours delivery home for anything you want. It can be a beauty care pot, it can be whatever.
Yeah.
It can be a drink, quick commerce. Nike, the lady, I met the founder, she's now worth 8 billion euro dollars company. The size of my company. That's called quick commerce in beauty care. So it's amazing, and that's what I have hope, and it makes our world and frankly for the youth, I know it's tough. I know it's not easy all the time. I know they wanna, and I hope they continue dreaming big, and that their dreams are scary. If not, they are not big enough. Yeah. At least I always had scary dreams, because I call it an ambition. And that's okay, I hope I can reach it. And often my organization actually exceeded that scary ambition.
That's so true.
Because wins calls wins,
Absolutely.
Right? And you get better at it.
Absolutely. Speaking about the company, you've led one of the world's most innovative chemical groups through massive transformation, and you're known for that. How do you keep curiosity and purpose alive in such huge companies?
Well, first of all, my transformation, I have been always driven by purpose-led, changes, right? And it's not me coming, when I was with Diversity, it was a hygiene and cleaning company. When I received the phone call, I was still in the Middle East. And frankly, I accepted the job. And it didn't look like a promotion to take care of chemicals going to cleaning in institutional, going to cleaners, right? Because nobody dreams of becoming a cleaner. The first thought I had in that phone call was, wow, my grandmother was a cleaner.
Oh, I love that.
And when I came to the job, the whole crew, the whole team, you will tell them what we are doing. Oh, we are cleaning kitchen, we are cleaning hospitals, we are cleaning toilets. When I left the job, we were saving lives. And that understanding of the purpose, the why, is so profound in organizations. I had a chance also to do it with Solvay. Solvay was different because it's more than 100 at that time, 50-year-old company when I joined in 2019. And we had, a fabulous founder, Ernest Solvay, and the conferences of Solvay on chemistry. We invented even during the 1911 conference the quantum physics, etc. But the purpose was in the air without knowing it. So I asked all my teams, bottom up, including blue collars, people working in manufacturing plants, why we are in business, why we are in the job. It's not about what we do, yes. What is our product.
It's the bigger why.
Is the why, the belief, the compelling one, the intimate one. And I was lucky in my 11 years, I did it 3 times, bottom up. So, Solvay was about reinventing progress, obviously through people science, and we're chemists, right? Here with Syensqo, as we emerged from the mother company Solvay, there is still a risk, but there has been a risk that we are going to do just the same thing again and again. Mm-hmm. So we called ourselves explorers. We are in exploration. We explore science, new ways of doing, thinking, new ways of solving problems at the service of humanity, right? And I think in each transformation, I felt it's almost like doing your due diligence. You need to sit down. And normally it's an exercise in my playbook which lasts 6 months. And we do surveys, people who cannot connect, whatever. We go to plants, we have listening tours. So yeah, that's what I love to do. Because, I can ask people to give me top line, dollars, numbers, bottom line, and cash flow. If your people do not intimately believe why they are in the job, why they wake up in the morning and they go, they drive, they walk, They cycle, they bike to go to the office, to the plant, to the research and innovation. So Syensqo is all about lightweighting. We make any object lighter. If it's mobile, it consumes less fuel, it emits less CO2. It's about sustainability. You find us in 1 out of 2 EV cars in the world. You find us in 85% of the vehicles flying in the air. You find us in your e-bike.
Yeah.
We are in hemodialysis. The patients who are purifying their blood is us. 50% of the patients in the world. We are in connectivity. There is no connectivity, no semiconductor, an advanced one without us and Syensqo inside. We're in biotechnology, Azeris, rosemary extracts. We're a leader in the world. So when you wake up and say, oh, I see that plane flying. Well, you know,
we're part of that.
Yeah, my little 7-year-old, you know, dad is actually manufacturing products. It makes that plane lighter. It consumes less CO2. It actually pollutes less.
That makes sense.
Makes
And that's
sense
the
or
power.
not?
Yeah.
Then you go back to the impact we have on the earth. And that's what brings the pride.
Yeah.
You are proud of not. Yeah, I'm proud of belonging because the sense of belonging is important. So that's why, for me, transformation cannot last, cannot stick if they are not purpose-driven. That's why I'm here with your
Yes.
leaders on purpose. I think, and it's also important for me to give the torch when I do the job, I believe, and when I do, you know, a chapter. A CEO, you know, it doesn't flatter my ego or our ego, but the reality is that we are a small stone, you know, that are like pyramids, you know?
Yes.
We are a very small stone in the pyramid, very small.
We're part of a huge picture.
We're or a cathedral or a
Yeah.
mosque, right? We are that small piece, very small. It can be 1 year, 5 years, or 7 years, like me, or 11 years. But that small stone is important in the edifice, right?
Absolutely.
It's part of it. It allows you to go further and higher.
Absolutely.
And then you give the torch. As I say, you need to have the courage to lead, to transform, and the wisdom to leave when your successor is ready. And that's my case now. So I'm very happy. I mean, I'm sad because I'm leaving, you know, a fabulous team. And 17th of September, I will always remember it. This is the day I cried most in my life. Which they did as well. But the beauty is that you hand over a chapter. And I hope for my successor that he has the courage to lead and transform and the courage to go further than me.
I love that. Thank you so much, and thank you for mentioning that, because I know it's a new chapter in your life.
Yeah.
And I heard you say that and I truly believe that it takes a lot of wisdom to know when it's time for us to leave. And I'd love to know, how did you know that it was time for you? It was the right time, and also, what does this transition represent for you on a personal and a
Yeah.
professional
Well,
level?
listen, I mean, you know, most of my career I've been, you know, poached and hired from one job to another. Here I could equally left in 2023 when I split the company. The board asked me to stay because, you know, Syensqo, even if the largest, you know, part of the company I demerged, was a very, you know, difficult transaction, a bit bold, unusual in Europe. I've done it in the US, less in Europe. So, and I needed to step up the company because we left all the infrastructure behind. IT, IS, the global business services. So we were relying on the other one. We needed to step up the company. I hired actually 700 people in less than 700 days. That was my journey in the past 18 months. So we needed to step up the company to make it fully independent. So that's de-risking I was asked to do. And then you have succession planning. I'm a believer that from day one, by the way, that's what I do with my leader. I said, who is in your succession planning? So people who are a bit, you know, unsettled, they said, why? Am I not doing a good job? No, that's not the point. You need to prepare your successor as from now. And frankly, I had few names from day one. Because if you want to go to another chapter of your life, if you're going to be promoted, right? You rather have your successor ready.
So true.
And people often, the mistake is that they stick into the seat.
I know, yeah.
Till they become either incompetent, they don't, they are not anymore happy in the job. And frankly, it's better to have this dynamic. And in each chapter of a company and transformation, there should be another leader and other leaders, right? That's okay. My predecessor was different than me, and my successor will be different, even if it was my chosen candidate who won. And it's a board decision; it's not my decision. But I think and I like always to compare with our kids. At one point of time, your kids, they will always be your kids, but they leave home, and you rather let it go.
For sure.
Some parents are still on the kids,
yeah.
which was a bit my a problem of mine as well, because I'm a human being. But you need to let it go, and this is where people thrive. They impress you, they surprise you, they give you even better. So yeah, as much as I'm sad, like my son when he left home, but as much as I'm happy to watch him now becoming a young adult, right? Far from us, but so connected with us.
Absolutely.
Even in a different way, in a more mature way, in a more balanced way. So it's the same in an organization.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think it's one of the hardest parts of leadership, actually, is really letting go.
It's true. It's true.
Now, speaking to the young listeners who tuned in today, what do you most want them to believe is possible for themselves?
Well, first of all, I want them to be hopeful, frankly. I mean, this young generation, be it in Morocco, in Brussels, or in the United States, or China, where I travel a lot in China. This youth, it's an amazing time to be on Earth. I believe that with Gen AI, and I really mean it, and I gave a speech recently, and I was explaining to them, is like, for me, the electricity and the candle. It happened that in Derb Sultan, I'm closing the loop. I moved from that candle to electricity. It was magic for me. The magic of Gen AI is going to really transform the speed of delivering science, the speed of you have a PhD in your pocket now. You want to learn something, I'm doing it. Yeah. So I went back to school with my team. I was in Harvard classroom a few weeks ago to learn Gen AI. And people, my team at the beginning say, well, we are busy, we have a business, and times are tough.
So important to keep learning.
And then after a day, they said, wow, Ilham. And I told them, they didn't know at that time because it was just before the announcements or the week of the announcements. And I told them, this is my gift for you. And we are coming back with the top 60 or 50 in November, again, to follow and investing in them. Because that learning is important. So I will tell to the youth, have dreams, scary dreams. If not, they're not big enough. Hope, want for yourself a better life. That's okay, and go after it. And find those resources, learn and relearn, continue learning. Education is the only way. It's the only way. Be tolerant, be open. Do not be afraid to fail, because failures, again, are instrumental to success. Find your purpose. If you didn't find it yet, it's okay. Keep looking for it. It's somewhere out there, but think about it, reflect on it, and ground in balance. Take care of yourself. But yeah, the youth is our is our future. And I have a 20 years old, son. Yeah. And I admire them because I think, like us probably, but it's in a different world. It's getting a bit more complicated. They probably have access to more data, to more news than I had, because I was in my way protected in Derb Sultan. I didn't have anything in my hand, no connectivity, no. So I dreamed and I traveled through my books. Now I wish they travel in a book. They travel with an iPad and with crazy, connectivity all the time, and that's okay. It's their era. But I hope they can connect and disconnect, and they can continue dreaming, hallucinating, going after art or science or literature, everything is possible. If I can do it, everybody can do it, believe me. If I can write a book at 56 and just put the end few weeks ago, everybody can do it.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah,
Huge
imagine.
achievement. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, hope and hope and hope.
Hope and hope and hope. I love that. That was beautiful. Thank you. Now, Ilham, as someone who was born in Morocco and now recognized as a global leader, how do you see Africa's story evolving? And where do you believe the continent's true power of transformation lies?
Well, I mean, yeah, we belong to Africa, and I like that. I'll start with the business and I'll finish at human level. Africa is the very last emerging market available to us. It's very, very, very last of, and I have your beautiful map in front of me. I mean, Europe is done. Americas in general, although there are pockets of growth. China is now, a land of innovation, not anymore imitation. China is just innovating like crazy. And then India obviously is emerging, and there will be something coming out of India with the huge infrastructure. But if you look at the potential of youth, of development needs, of technology requirements and sophistication, is Africa, from north to south, from east to west. And I love it because, you have probably the highest youth over there. And this is where Morocco plays a role, right? As a bridge, is almost a bridge between Africa and the rest of the world. Absolutely. Be it north in Europe or the United States and the Americas. It has a unique, place, be it location, be it, understanding of the culture, owning as well, investments are being done by Morocco, in Africa, understanding the agriculture, and like OCP as a company doing a lot in terms of food security, because it's important. I think food security, access to potable water, clean water is important for Africa. And then I think it's about education, and better governance to Africa, which I believe gonna change completely, the attractiveness of investors, right? And having more. Chinese have been investing a lot in Africa in the past years, from mining to connectivity, etc. Morocco has done a lot. Europe has been losing a bit of its investments, stance. But the African diaspora, the people who are going out, and now coming in
and wanting to be part of the next chapter,
like Mo Ibrahim, who I interviewed, like you, he's an amazing guy. I mean, look at what he's doing in Africa, right? And there are many others who either are going to bring more investments or are going to come back and onshore their investments and their companies. But it's the very, very last emerging markets available to us. And I think hopefully the African are going to own it. It's not about others doing it for us. And like Morocco, it's about doing it ourselves. And there is intellect, there is people who are probably the next generation of leaders for Africa to really emerge as, a developed continent.
Thank you. Well, Ilham, we're arriving to the final three. It's almost the end of the episode, and these are three fire rapid questions I ask all my guests. So, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
If there is one, is lead with the heart and the mind.
I love that.
If there is only one.
What is the worst piece of advice you have ever been given?
Be quiet. Don't speak up. Don't make waves. I think hopefully I didn't follow it, as you can see me. And that's why I'm in front of you today.
I love that. I'm going to keep that. Yes, absolutely. Now, if you had the chance to decide on one law, one principle, one rule that absolutely everyone on this planet had to follow, what would it be?
Wow. It's a big question. For me, it's about taking from Earth what you need, really, and leave the rest for the next generation.
That's a beautiful one on sustainability. Ilham, thank you so much for this wonderful exchange, for your generous
really
heart.
Fun. Yeah,
it was amazing having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you again. That is it. Thank you so much for spending your most precious asset with me, which is your time. I'm so grateful. If you like this episode, please take a moment to hit subscribe, leave us a review, and share with a friend. Spread the love. You can also screenshot this episode and tag Ilham and me on social media. It really, really makes a huge difference and helps keep this podcast going. I make it my mission to bring you the best possible content and absolutely incredible guests. I am back every other Sunday. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you very soon.